So it was a very strange day today, not just in terms of the events of the coronavirus, which obviously a lot of us are feeling the interference in our lives. I've been going to work, actually been working a lot, have had stuff to do at least so far. So I've been impacted not nearly as much as most people that I know. I know people who haven't been able to really leave the house at all. So obviously, it's a trying time. We're going to talk a little bit about Tulsi Gabbard dropping out of the race. I think this is really a point where you do have to lose a lot of respect for Surf Mama. And the truth is that she had a lot of people tied to a string where they were saying, well, she's going to fight the establishment and she at least will tell the truth about what's going on with Russia and with Syria as well as Yemen and all that. And look, I don't think that we can take away from her a lot of the things that she's done in the past. But given what she did today, I don't necessarily look at her as someone of the integrity that she tries to portray to the public. I think this is a huge black mark on her record, and it seriously calls into question whether she has much behind her statement that she fights the establishment and is trying to fight for a more democratic society where the people's voice is represented.
An unprecedented global crisis that highlights the inextricable bonds of humanity and how foreign policy and domestic policy are inseparable. We are all in this together, and we must all rise to meet this moment in service to our country and our fellow man. This is not the first time that we have faced adversity together, and it will not be the last. After the terrorist attack by al-Qaeda on our country on 9/11, we stood together as Americans, motivated to serve, marshaling our forces to defeat our common enemy. I and so many Americans all across this country enlisted in the military to do just that. Likewise, today, as Americans and all of humanity, we face a common enemy. It is once again time as Americans and as neighbors in this global community that we stand together once again and work hand in hand to defeat this new enemy, the coronavirus. Throughout my life and throughout this campaign, my motivation has been to serve God, our country, and the American people as best I can. I feel that the best way that I can be of service at this time is to continue to work for the health and well-being of the people of Hawaii and our country in Congress, and to stand ready to serve in uniform should the Hawaii National Guard be activated. Now, after Tuesday's election, it's clear that Democratic primary voters have chosen Vice President Joe Biden to be the person who will take on President Trump in the general election. I know Vice President Biden and his wife, and I'm grateful to have called his son, Beau, a friend who also served in the National Guard. Now, although I may not agree with the Vice President on every issue, I know that he has a good heart, and he's motivated by his love for our country and the American people. I'm confident that he will lead our country guided by the spirit of aloha, respect, and compassion, and thus help heal the divisiveness that has been tearing our country apart. So today, I'm suspending my presidential campaign and offering my full support to Vice President Joe Biden in his quest to bring our country together. I will continue to advocate for a 21st century foreign policy.
You can't continue to advocate for a 21st century foreign policy when you're stuck with someone who still thinks it's 1972. And it is ridiculous that Tulsi Gabbard, who has said all of these things over the past year and beyond that, all the way back to the 2016 election, all about money and politics and the she's not as much into the Green New Deal, but in terms of fighting in Yemen and things. Who got the United States into Yemen? It was the Obama-Biden administration. And who is she endorsing now? Joe Biden, the vice president who was in that administration that took the United States into war in Yemen. So all of the left, quote unquote, left libertarians, which is an oxymoron, you cannot be a left libertarian. Liberties are they're dependent and endowed on the individual. They're not given to the collective. Okay, there's no collective liberty, right? Everybody enjoys the same liberties because as individuals, we know that we need those liberties in order that we don't get abused by the collective. So the left libertarians show themselves to be transparently weak. This is the Tulsi Gabbard type libertarian, the type that has always said, "Oh, we're about ending the drug war. We're about ending the imposition of the religious sphere on the bedroom, with same-sex marriage and things like that." That's all bullshit. Okay, those types of things. In terms of calling yourselves libertarians who look for a more socially conscious and cooperative society, it's all nonsense, because in the end, these people do go and bow their heads to the establishment. And Tulsi Gabbard is no different. Tulsi Gabbard, this face of her endorsing Joe Biden, it has to be some sort of joke. And I do have a theory of why she did it, and obviously I think I can understand why she didn't endorse Bernie Sanders, given recent events. Let's watch the rest of the video.
One that's based on mutual respect and cooperation instead of confrontation, where we as a community of nations can work together to overcome the great challenges that our people face, preventing and stopping pandemics like the coronavirus that is now affecting all of us, tackling climate change, combating terrorism,
tackling climate change, another fake issue that people who have been trying to tear down the U.S. economy have been promoting for years and years. So Tulsi Gabbard is not different from any of these other clowns now. She tried to be different, and I think she eventually understood that being different is a choice that she has to make that precludes her from being happy.
The existential threat of nuclear war that hangs over the heads of all of us. I will continue to do everything that I can.
Who brought the United States closer to nuclear war than ever? It was the Obama-Biden administration. I almost made the same gaffe that Biden himself made. With the Iran nuclear deal, with what they did with North Korea, having a diplomacy of weakness, of vacillating, of waffling. We have a president now, albeit his economic policies, including the stimulus. These are things I don't necessarily support. I don't believe in stimulus packages. I am much more of a laissez-faire right-wing libertarian. The only real libertarians are the right-wing libertarians. So, yeah, I don't think that Donald Trump, in terms of this economic policy, is fulfilling the vision that I would have. But in terms of foreign policy, what does Tulsi Gabbard have to complain about? I think that in terms of fighting in order to get a peace deal in Afghanistan, in North Korea, trying to get troops out of Syria, all of those things, did Joe Biden do anything to try and get any of those accomplished? No, he did nothing. Nothing. Took no risks, made no sacrifices. The man is just a stand-in for the establishment. He's a tool.
To help bring about an end to the new Cold War and nuclear arms race and end regime change wars, which are costing us trillions of dollars, so that we can invest these precious resources in the needs of the American people. Things like healthcare, rebuilding our infrastructure, education, and so much more. I want to extend my best wishes to my friends, Senator Bernie Sanders, his wife Jane, Nina Turner, and their many supporters for the work that they've done.
See, I think what she's really doing here is she's giving the middle finger to them, because they never really went and fought against this libel concerning Russia that was thrown against Bernie Sanders supporters. They basically went along with the DNC, and Tulsi Gabbard didn't on that occasion. But now she is making nice of the DNC And I think she's making the statement that, well, she's going to make her own separate deal with them as opposed to, palling along with with the Bernie faction, which doesn't do her any favors.
I have such a great appreciation for Senator Sanders' love for our country and the American people and his sincere desire to improve the lives of all Americans. To the many people all across our country who've dedicated their time and energy and resources to my campaign, working tirelessly to help get our message out, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I look forward to speaking to you more in the coming days about why I made this decision and how we can continue to work together for our common cause.
Okay, so yeah, the progressive left has no one left. Bernie Sanders' campaign is running on fumes. It's over for him. The progressive left has failed, and they're basically going. What they had to do, what they should have done, what they should have insisted on doing right after the 2016 campaign was to form their own party and fight the Democrats in every single district and not cooperate with them in 2018, not do this retarded Justice Democrats movement, which did them no. By the way, the Justice Democrats, yes, they gained one new nominee in Illinois, but I think it's very possible that some of these other ones, the ones that are already serving in Congress, they could lose their seats. I think that this is just the New York Post story that summarizes it, but some people have said, well, Tulsi Gabbard was a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, which is a neoconservative / neoliberal organization, and they say that this has been stealth edited out of her profile. And look, I'm not going to attack Tulsi Gabbard on, say that the things she's done in the past are null and void at this point. I think certainly she has the chance to go back on this. I think what she should have done was drop out and say that she will not make an endorsement in the race and will probably retire from politics because she gave it a try and she's a failure. What she did instead was really say, look, I'm going to, it's if you can't beat them, join them. That's basically what she's doing. That's it. So all of this stuff about her taking attacks from the media about being a Hindu and supporting President Modi, which whether you like Modi or not, it's her right as an American to, especially as a member of Congress, to meet with foreign leaders and talk about policy with India, especially as though I think she's one of only 3 Hindus in Congress, right? And I'm not a Hindu, so this is no skin off of this is no problem for me. I don't care, but it's her right to talk to the president of India, try to establish friendly relations with the Indian government. And the media made it sound like she was signing a pact with Adolf Hitler or something. It's ridiculous. And finally, I think that this could be the biggest mistake. Let's take this back to the moment in November when she was on the debate stage in, I think this was Georgia.
You have criticized Hillary Clinton as the, quote, personification of the rot that has sickened the Democratic Party. What is the rot you see in the Democratic Party?
That our Democratic Party, unfortunately, is not the party that is of, by, and for the people. It is a party that has been and continues to be influenced by the foreign policy establishment in Washington, represented by Hillary Clinton and others' foreign policy, by the military-industrial complex and other greedy corporate interests. I'm running for president to be the Democratic nominee that rebuilds our Democratic Party, takes it out of their hands, and truly puts it in the hands of the people of this country, a party that actually hears the voices of Americans who are struggling all across this country, and puts it in the hands of veterans and fellow Americans who are calling for an end to this ongoing Bush, Clinton, Trump foreign policy doctrine of regime change wars, overthrowing dictators and other countries. So listen to what she said. country and puts it in the hands of veterans and fellow Americans who are calling for an end to this ongoing Bush-Clinton-Trump foreign policy doctrine.
Well, why didn't she include Barack Obama? Why didn't she include Joe Biden? This was in November. I think that this entire time she had the inside track that the Obama faction of the party, which was a little lukewarm towards Joe Biden, but the people that were loyal to his administration, they still have a handle on the party machinery, them, to some extent, the Clintons, and she has no chance of getting anywhere in life by alienating all of them. So she never directly criticized Joe Biden. In fact, in an earlier debate when Joe Biden was being called to task for his support of, for his opposition to forced busing in the 70s, she came to his defense. So I don't see in any case here where Tulsi Gabbard directly said that the Obama administration was responsible for the war in Yemen, that the Obama administration was responsible for the war in Libya. Yes, she did criticize the Obama administration in the past, but not in the context of Joe Biden, who's never made any apology for any of those things. She has essentially let him skate. I do believe she might have attacked him for voting for the Iraq war, but not. Maybe it was one or two times. Pete Buttigieg went after Biden several times over his vote for the Iraq war. And he also cucked to Joe Biden. So none of these people are genuine.
Of regime change wars, overthrowing dictators in other countries, needlessly sending my brothers and sisters in uniform into harm's way to fight in wars that actually undermine our national security and have cost us thousands of American lives. These are wars that have cost us as American taxpayers trillions of dollars since 9/11 alone, dollars that have come out of our pockets, out of our hospitals, out of our schools, out of our infrastructure needs. As president, I will end this foreign policy, end these regime change wars, work to end this new Cold War and arms race, and instead invest our hard-earned taxpayer dollars actually into serving the needs of the American people right here at home.
Senator Harris, any response?
Oh, sure. I think that it's unfortunate that we have someone on the stage who is attempting to be the Democratic nominee for President of the United States, who during the Obama administration spent 4 years full-time on Fox News criticizing President Obama.
That's ridiculous,
Who has spent full-time criticizing people on this stage as affiliated with the Democratic Party. When Donald Trump was elected, not even sworn in, buddied up to Steve Bannon to get a meeting with Donald Trump in the Trump Tower, fails to call a war criminal by what he is as a war criminal, and then spends full time during the course of this campaign, again, criticizing the Democratic Party. What we need on the stage in November is someone who has the ability to win. And by that, we need someone on that stage who has the ability to go toe-to-toe with Donald Trump, and someone who has the ability to rebuild the Obama coalition and bring the party and the nation together. I believe I am that candidate.
Thank you, Senator. Congresswoman Gabbard, I'll give you a chance to respond.
What Senator Harris is doing is unfortunately continuing to traffic in lies and smears and innuendos because she cannot challenge the substance of the argument that I'm making, the leadership and the change that I'm seeking to bring in our foreign policy, which only makes me guess that she will, as president, continue the status quo, continue the Bush-Clinton-Trump foreign policy of regime change war.
Again, she said Bush, Clinton, Trump. She left out Barack Obama. She left out Joe Biden. She left out, I think maybe she was referring to Hillary Clinton because Bill Clinton was a bit of an interventionist. He wasn't quite as much as Bush or Obama. Look, I think that when she says these things to Kamala Harris, which were true things, and she goes ahead and endorses Joe Biden, for which all of these things are much more applicable, all of these criticisms of foreign policy and interventionism and defense spending run amok, all of those things, she has to finally, I think she has to dig deep and realize that if she wants to maintain any semblance of authenticity, she cannot make an endorsement in this race. I don't even know if she can endorse Trump, which some people I think were hoping she would do, which I think was a pipe dream. I don't think her domestic policy is in any way consistent with Trump, so it would have to be something where she'd say, look, I just want us to get out of Afghanistan or whatever. I don't think most people would look on that favorably, but this is just a huge turnabout.
Which is deeply destructive. This is personal to me because I served in Iraq. I left my seat in the state legislature in Hawaii, volunteered to deploy to Iraq, where I served in a medical unit where every single day I saw the terribly high human cost of war. I take very seriously the responsibility that the president has to serve as commander-in-chief, to lead our armed forces, and to make sure always, no, I'm not going to put party interests first. I will put the interests of the American people.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
You are putting party interests first. That's what she's doing now, and that's what she did when she endorsed Joe Biden.
I want to briefly give Senator Harris a final second to respond.
I believe that what our nation needs right now is a nominee who can speak to all people. I spent my entire career standing mostly in a courtroom speaking 5 words, Kamala Harris for the people. And it was about all the people, regardless of their race, regardless of their gender, regardless of where they live geographically, regardless of the party with which they're registered to vote or the language their grandmother speaks.
This has nothing to do with what they're talking about. Complete and total obfuscation. And that this is the party that Tulsi Gabbard is now rejoined and that she's endorsing.
We need someone on this debate stage in November who has the ability to unify the country and to win the election. And I believe, again, I am that candidate.
Thank you for watching this video from NBC4 New York. You can subscribe by tapping the button below me, and on the left you can see our latest updates, investigations,
candidate, but she
and digital
will,
exclusives.
in my opinion,
We'll see you next time.
The vice presidential pick. There's even the New York Times is saying that she might be the nominee. You have, there's a lot of stories about her asking people to release all of these inmates from prison because of the COVID-19. She suggested $500 per family amid the coronavirus, and people are pissed off because Trump offered more. So yeah, this is a woman who could be, and I think that she will be the nominee. I think she's more reliable for the Democrats than is Elizabeth Warren or Amy Klobuchar. I think that she will be picked also because of the hue of her skin, and that's about it. So yes, Tulsi Gabbard. I think if Kamala Harris is chosen as the nominee for vice president, she has to rescind her endorsement of Joe Biden. Tulsi Gabbard cannot allow someone like Kamala Harris to become vice president. And if she does, yeah, she's a total fake. That's it. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can also find me on these platforms, YouTube, BitChute, Minds.com, and Subscribestar. All of those are at Chef Leopard, apart from Gab, which is at Starscream85. I'll talk to you later. Enjoy your Friday.